Hey, how are you doing? Another video here from me to you. I'm at the time of day where I do use my Keto Mojo device. What this does is it takes a reading of my glucose and my ketones and gives me an index using the two. What I want are high ketones and low glucose to give me a high GKI or glucose ketone index. And I don't know if today's a day that I should do. This is day one of fast. And I'm not sure how many days I'm going to do because I want to get into a little bit of that on the video here today. And I sure do appreciate you taking the time to watch this. And I appreciate your support. And I appreciate your love and the people who, request information about going through a cancer. If you're on a cancer journey, a journey that you're trying to figure out, how things go and what you should do. I was in your shoes and I decided to take the bull by the horns and take things into my own hands and listen to my oncologist and the doctors around, but also research on my own because I know I could do that. I know I could, get my computer out and go to Google and do these searches on, okay, for the cancer I have, what's the latest research? What are they doing? And what I noticed this morning is a lot of research is being done in China. It seems like more papers are coming out of China and the Chinese research, and also a synergy between the Chinese and American scientists in the area of cancer research. And I just think that's fascinating. I was looking at some things about the use of vitamin B3 in breast cancer this morning and found out there's been some significant steps, that using vitamin B3 when you have breast cancer has shown to stop progression. And those are good words. I look for those words in the scientific papers, and I know that they don't work for everybody. I've tried some things that have been suggested in some of those scientific papers, and for me, my markers, my blood work didn't show that much of a jump. So usually I'll go on to the next thing. I'll try something for 2 to 3 weeks. That's long enough, I feel, for it to have some kind of results. And when nothing happens, then it's like, okay, maybe this didn't work for me. This is the little Lansing thing. What we're gonna do is what I'm gonna do. You don't have to do anything, right? Just sit and watch, I guess. Is use one of these fancy lances and poke I usually use my thumb because my fingers, I found when I use this needle thing on my fingers, what happens is it later, for some reason, it they get sore. My thumbs do too, but I mean, for the most part, I'm not using these areas down here on my thumb, so I just kind of poke around there. Now, a trick that Dr. Dom D'Agostino taught me, he didn't do it intentionally, but I was just listening to his conversation that he was having, is that if you warm the body up, you will have a better blood flow. The blood comes to the surface. So even if you warm your hands up, you're probably going to get a good drop of blood to work with your device. So what I want to do, I keep saying we, like you're going to be doing this too, but it's not. I'm interested to see. I've been using this device here. It's called a biometer. And what it does is it does breath ketones. This morning I was up to 25 on their standard. And usually it does track together with whatever you get on your Keto Mojo. To get this thing ready, of course, you have to have the strips. These little strips are not cheap, but they're not too expensive either. I mean, we're talking about cancer. We're talking about life and death here. So when you make any of these kind of investments, I consider them to be small. It's sort of like when I decided to go on the clinical ketogenic diet, I thought, this is not really that much of a choice. I mean, if I see that it works, and that's one of the scientific papers, that there's a lot of scientific papers saying that, there's something to do with the ketogenic diet and how it affects cancer growth or tumor growth. So I thought, well, let's do the ketogenic diet. And I really feel that it played a big part in my, whipping cancer. So if it's something you think you want to do your research on it. I have plenty of videos on it, and also have presented or published on, at least on Twitter, a lot of links to the studies that I'm talking about. And just remember that if you start in on the ketogenic diet, especially depending on the cancer type that you have, what I do is I would, for my people that have come to me for, questions and assistance and maybe a little hand holding, I tell them to go to Google, or let's go to Google together and put in the words a metabolic phenotype with a PHENOTYPE, and then the type of cancer you have. So you could put in like metabolic phenotype liver cancer, metabolic phenotype glioblastoma, or something like that. And this will give you the type of fuel that your cancer uses. And for me, in my studies and in my living through this crazy thing, I have felt and found, to me, that my cancer loves sugar and uses glucose and glutamine to, like, really feed itself. So anything I can do to, keep the glucose levels down, and also to keep those pathways blocked, is a good thing, because I want to block off any way that this thing can be using my body and the stuff I eat as fuel. Now, of course, we know that the stuff that we eat is fuel for our body, right? So it made sense to me that if I did a diet that like messed up the cancer, in other words, tried to starve it, that it would be a good thing. So the more research I did on the ketogenic diet, the more I found out. And when I tried it for myself, and I'm speaking for myself, it worked. It appeared to work for me. I don't want to get too deep into the exact mechanism, but in some of my other videos I do, where I say that I certainly believe that the type of cancer that I had could not uptake ketones. So if I get into ketosis, this guy is going to be starving. And I did a synergy with chemotherapy. So, one ear was kind of listening to standard of care in my oncologist, and he was prescribing this chemotherapy, looking at my blood work, saying, you're tolerating it very well, let's continue. And then I was also doing the ketogenic diet. And also, if you've seen some of my other posts, been doing a lot of fasting too. Now, like I told you this earlier on this video, today is the first day of a very long fast that I'm going to go on, and I'll let you in on why I'm doing that. But let's get this going. So what I'm going to do is poke myself, usually, let's try the left thumb. I really like this thing, no pokes, right? But it doesn't show your glucose, which I think is important to me anyway. So here we go. I barely felt that. So what I do is I'll take my thumb and I'll, hold it down below the heart level and press it, so I can see a size of a drop of blood that's going to be big enough for both strips, the ketone strip, which I'll put in first. Okay, so it's saying error 11. Let me try that again. There we go. We're going to try this guy. So what it does is it counts down, and then it will get me a reading on my level of ketones in my body right now, which is showing I have 2.5 rather, which is super low. Okay, so let's take a look at glucose, which reads much faster. It does 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and we'll show what my glucose level is right now. I'm at 118, which is super high, right? So for me anyway, yeah. So it makes sense for me to use glucose blockers, and later I will take the data from here and sync it up with my phone, which I can't do right now because I'm using my phone to make this video for you. The reason, let me go for what I feel are reasons why my fasting glucose is kind of high. A couple things maybe. Did have a cup of coffee. Got another cup of coffee right here next to me. But I did have a late night snack, and I mean very late night. I was watching a movie because my circadian clock's kind of messed up right now because of a recent trip I did over to Europe. I just got back from Frankfurt, Germany, and spent a few days over there with a friend, and we had a lot of fun, and it was great. It's the first time I've been in Germany, and you know, that is like 6 hours different from Naples, Florida. So got the blinds open here and the sunlight coming in and trying to get my clock back on. You know, your circadian clock kind of catches up pretty quick. My sleeping though last night for some reason did not show very good, and it's probably because I stayed up late, and then I was snacking too. I had some cheese last night before sleeping. Don't do that, all right? We all have our little things. A lot of them we need to push out of our diet, take them off our menu for now. Cheese is something that a lot of people that are into the clinical ketogenic diet for medicinal purposes will take off the diet, take off the menu. And the reason they believe is because cheese is inflammatory, I suppose. You could see it that way. There have been studies showing that cheese is inflammatory. So anything that's going to cause the body to do more work that is not cancer related, it's just, why not take everything you got and focus the energy on your disease and let the body try to take care of this disease. So that's an important thing. You should write that down. And it's very important that you get proper sleep. It showed that I was waking up a lot last night, and I'm not sure, if this Fitbit is 100%, it's not 100% accurate, but if it's that accurate. Yesterday showed that I had excellent sleep rating. And I found another thing too that really helps me in sleep. And sleep, I'm into sleep more because sleep really is when the repairs happen for your body. Fasting really helps a lot. But when you're sleeping, if you can get into the deep sleep, that's going to be the one that really helps you repair what's going on in your body. And I really believe that if you can get your body into homeostasis, which is like, balance, where you're eating good, excuse me, and sleeping well, that the body will do its thing. The body will cure almost anything. And it's just incredible to watch sometimes the turnarounds that people have because they get good sleep. Now if you haven't followed him, the sleep diplomat, as he's known all over the internet, you can follow him by just following Sleep Diplomat. His name's Matthew Walker, and he is like the guru of sleep. But he says that if you can get your body core temperature down at least a degree or two, that you'll have much better night's sleep. And I've been doing some experiments where I take the thermostat here in the house, and sometimes doing these kind of experiments cost a small fortune, because in Southwest Florida, in South Florida, it's expensive to warm your or to cool your house down at any time down to like the 60s. He says, you should be sleeping around 66, 65 degrees, and to get the house that cool at night, even at nighttime here, excuse me, is a chore. Let me drink some of this wonderful coffee. Yeah. Let me just kind of stir that in. Well, just leave it on top, I guess. What I have in my coffee is Keto Brains. I'm not sure if you've ever tried that. It's a nootropic creamer, and it has like all kinds of really good stuff in it. MCT oil, alpha GPC, lion's mane mushrooms, and L-theanine, which I take in a supplement form as well. And it's one of the creamers that actually tastes good. Some of these things that are on the market, you put it in your coffee and it's like, okay, I guess this is good for my health. But anyway, if you can get a good night's sleep, it's just paramount to recovery. That's why the GKI is going to show, you're not in clinical ketosis at all, because you did see some ketones, right? But the reason is because, and the high glucose is because there's still food in my gut that's being digested. Now, my suggestions, as if you have taken a look at my protocol at all for cancer, excuse me, is to stop eating at around 3 p.m. If you do any studies with circadian clock and your circadian rhythm, if you can make it where you adjust your eating window to end at 3, this will give like 6 hours of time, or maybe a little bit more, for your gut to kind of empty before you go to sleep. And that is important, because if we sleep on an empty gut, we won't have the pancreas trying to push out any more insulin, and we won't have anything going on as far as digestion, which is the biggest energy user of the body when you are supposed to be sleeping. You're digesting food. Probably not much of anything else is going to go on as far as repairs, unless it's for like a survival type thing. Your body goes, yeah, we got to get this taken care of, because if not, bad stuff's going to happen. So, excuse me. But yeah, that coffee's really good. Another thing I take is, you guys know, let me see. I have any around here? Here we go. Excuse me again. Keto Start. Now, Keto Start, why do I take Keto Start? This is exogenous ketones by a company called Audacious Nutrition. This particular one has caffeine in it. It has not a whole lot of caffeine. It has 100 milligrams, which is less than what you get in a cup of coffee. And they come in little packets. I take a packet and I'll add it to, you can add it to your, anything. Actually, you don't have to add it to water, but I do add it to water. I get this this water at Costco. You can see it's Kirkland brand. That means, Costco type stuff. And it's alkaline water. It's like 9.5 pH. I'm sorry, I'm dying here this morning with the choking here on stuff. That really helped though. I like it. It has a really good taste to it. This particular flavor is raspberry lemonade. And then they have another flavor that's not caffeinated. So check them out at Audacious Nutrition online and order you some. I tell you, it excuse me, it does make a difference. All right, so let me get into a little bit about why I'm doing the fast. On February the 3rd, I went in for a procedure in Tampa, Florida called a Nanoknife procedure. And if you Google Nanoknife or do a YouTube on Nanoknife, you'll see what it's used for. It's a procedure where they put needles down around the cancer in your body and then shoot like 3,000 volts across those needles and actually zap the cancer cells. And what happens is on a cellular level, is you actually pierce the cell wall with tiny slits, and that's why they call it Nanoknife. Now, once this is done, the cancer cell has hardly any chance of defending itself against the T cells, your immune system. And your immune system looks at that and says, that's a damaged cell, needs to get out of here. So it throws it out. Now, when this procedure was done, I was led to believe by the doctors up at the Moffitt Cancer Center that this is great. You come through with, probably flying colors. We'll take another reading on March 1st, which they did, which is the first of the month that I'm recording this video. And we'll take a look at it, and they proclaimed me cancer-free. I don't have any cancer going on anymore. We like zapped it all. However, another issue came up that I was totally unaware of. He did say, excuse me, getting there. I don't know, this is from the cheese that I ate last night. I'm so sorry I'm coughing so much on this thing. But he did tell me on February 3rd when I was in recovery that he wanted to put me on antibiotics because the doctor did the Nanoknife. And I said, antibiotics, okay, why? He said, well, when we were doing the procedure, we kind of got really close to the colon wall. And maybe, and I'm not sure how to interpret when a surgeon says maybe. No surgery was done on me except these pins going down, so nobody cut me open or anything. But the electrolysis that happened got super close, very, very, very close to the wall of the colon. That's where my cancer was, like in the liver, gallbladder, bile duct, colon area, where it just wraps around right under your rib cage there, your large intestine. And he said we might have like nicked that too just a little bit, and just so we don't have any infection going on and we don't want the colon wall to get infected, I want to put you on antibiotics. So I took the antibiotics. Last week of the antibiotics, I felt, I had diarrhea. Well, you don't know, but I'm telling you. So when I went into the March 3rd follow-up with a CT scan to see what was going on there, it did show some air bubbles, which kind of caught the surgeon guy, Nanoknife doctor, off guard. And he says, looking at your blood work, your body is not really fighting anything. You're not fighting an infection, but could be something, but let's keep an eye on it. And if you have any pain in that area or anything like that, just let us know, or, call a hospital immediately, tell them that you have an infection in your colon wall, and they'll know what to do. They'll get in touch with us. And that sounded pretty serious. It's like, he said, because if there's an infection in the colon wall, that means surgery. And I'm thinking, no, we're not doing surgery on my colon wall because of a Nanoknife procedure that I wasn't informed of before this whole thing came about. The Nanoknife Zoom call, preparatory call, I recorded, and there's nothing on there about, hey, this may damage other things, and not really sure. Maybe I signed something that said that it could do that, and you could be whatever. But I'm thinking now, if I had this information back then, I would not advise anyone to use the Nanoknife procedure if their cancer is diminishing at the rate mine was. I went from 6 centimeters, which is pretty big, guys, down to something that's less than half an inch on my liver, like a little spot that they said, okay, let's use Nanoknife for that spot. But the precarious area that it was in was a challenge for the doctor, and such a challenge that he's used the word maybe, and that's never good. So if it's going away anyway, your cancer, the best thing is to just let the thing heal up completely. So I started feeling this more over in Germany when I was over there a couple of days ago. In that area, it feels like it's lower than where the Nanoknife procedure was done, but I can feel it there, and it feels like a pain over on that side, irritating. When I was in Germany, it was so irritating that it was coming in like waves, like pangs, and hurt, and I thought, well, this is weird. What is this, and the more I talked about it with my friend, we thought maybe it's diverculitis. Is that what you call it? Where you have like a infection of the wall of the intestine, which looking online and in some of these forums, it's like there's not really a long time cure for it as far as conventional stuff goes. Conventionally, the answer to if I do have infection that won't go away is surgery, right? But for the same reasoning with my cancer that I had, if I would have gone just the simple conventional route and not done any more research, then I'm not sure where I'd be. I don't know if the cancer would have gone away or what would have happened. I know the stuff that I did. I mean, I gotta know the stuff that I did helped, right? Along with the chemotherapy, which I don't know if that helped at all, or if it was something that hindered. Who knows, right? It's hard to know these things when it's only one person, but you're going through the experience, you're going through the journey. So a lot of times your body and your feelings, your gut feelings and your heart, you feel like this makes sense. Sort of like the Mandalorian guys say, right? This is the way. You probably don't even know what that is, right? Maybe you do. Yeah, but excuse me. But yeah, I now looking at this this pain in here, and I'm going, okay, I know everything I can do to help my body heal this would be, one, get great sleep, which I didn't last night, kind of sabotage that, right? But the other thing is to do a long fast, which allows the body to make tons of repairs and also to regenerate cells, to get rid of old cells, to clean up. You got autophagy happening, apoptosis, and then I'm thinking if there's any kind of infection or anything like that going on in the body, it will, it's be a good chance to heal it up. There's, I got some work today. There's a little, something I'm thinking about doing when I get to my destination today. I'm going to San Diego, California. And I know at the hotel there, they have a nice tub in the room. And I know this grosses out a lot of people. But if I can get that tub clean enough, which sometimes, you look, and if you use like good products on something, you can pretty well wipe down stuff. And if I can either use it for, it's a weird tub. So it's not like a deep bathtub. It's sort of like it kind of looks like a what do you call, a hot tub, sort of, but it's shallower. So you can kind of like sit on the side of it. And this is what I think I'll do: sit on the side and then run like super hot water and act like it's a sauna, right? And I'm gonna get a ton of water and probably make some really good hot teas and just do sauna, for as until I feel that I've done enough. And this, I believe, helps with getting the impurities out of your body and out of your system, and that'll help as well. So, day one of this long fast, I'm not sure. I think I'm gonna push maybe 4 days, 5 days, and see how I feel. I'll probably do like 3 days, and then see how I feel on day three as far as what's going on down here. And if I find that it, starts going away completely, we'll know that we've done good work, right? So that's what I have planned. That's what has gone on with me. Just wanted to catch you up on that. It's time for me to take my supplements, so I'm going to be doing that. Remember to take your supplements. Don't cheat on any of that kind of stuff. You really need to follow what has either been prescribed to you or that you have put in place for yourself. Your body takes a while to use these different supplements, and your body to use them in the proper ways. So give them some time if you're just starting, and if not, don't skip days, okay? On the diet, a lot of people ask me about that, and I come back and ask how they're doing. The majority of you cheat, so you're cheaters. Not to say that I don't. I'm not perfect. Am I strict as I was on the diet as before? Almost. There'll be some things I permit myself because that I'm not fighting the cancer the way I did. A guy wrote me a couple of days ago about his cancer and said they had him on preventative chemotherapy, and I thought, I don't know about that. That was suggested to me too. I declined it because I think I have another scan coming up on March, April, May, on May 1st. And on May 1st, I want to see, if they can, see if they're going to do another scan. I want to see what that scan looks like. If I have to do chemo again, if something reappears, we'll do the synergy again with the therapeutic ketogenic diet and all these wonderful supplements I've been taking. We'll just go down the same path that I've done before. And, I'm not breaking up. Matter of fact, I ordered like $100 of supplements yesterday. Should be arriving today, but probably won't make it here before my trip. But, you need to keep on new things too, right? If you run out, make sure you reorder, stay at it. But the thing about cheating on the diet, you're not doing it for me. You're not doing it for anybody else. You're not doing it to show off. For me, when I started, it was like a life or death type of thing. So I said, okay, got to do this therapeutic ketogenic diet or clinical ketogenic diet, a 4-to-1 ratio. Let's figure out. And I went to like these Latin, we have around here, supermarkets that have like, pit pork back and, the chicken hearts and stuff that you wouldn't normally find around the supermarkets here in Naples, Florida. So if you go to these ones that are like, an ethnic type of supermarket, maybe like a one that's suited, has Mexican foods in it or something like that, you will find some of these other things that are very, very good for our diets, like the pork fats and bacon and meats that are cut in a way that have a lot of the fat left on 'em. I found beef liver at one of these places at a super good price. I still have some of it in the freezer. But I mean, liver is great, right? So it's these things that you need to like scope out for yourself, do it for you. You're doing this diet for you. You want to become healthy and cancer free, right? So when you cheat, you're not cheating, you're only cheating yourself. Even if you do it like in the privacy of your room or wherever you are, or if you fall off the wagon and eat like a bunch of carbs or something like that, don't think that you can't get back on. Just, get back on the diet and um, make it count for you, right? Write me if you need some help, like some hand holding, as I say, somebody to encourage you. I'll do that. If you want to send me a direct message or something, or like contact me, um, you can reach me. You know how to reach me, and say and ask me. He says, what was your last meal? What did you eat and how did you prepare it? And because I'm still doing the clinical keto diet, I've bumped up my protein a little bit. But as far as the ratio there, it's still there. I think it's very important. Another important thing is exercise. If you're not getting some sort of exercise, walking is very good. Um, also push-ups, sit-ups if you can do them, chin-ups if you have a chin-up bar, and also planks. You know how to do planks, right? So do that. Make sure you get out and do things like that. Conserve your energy when you can, because you know when you'll need it. And make good choices when you buy your foods, your drinks. Stay away from sugar, stay away from carbs, and then you'll be fine. As far as fasting, my protocol calls for my protocol, right? Calls for these 72-hour fasts that I throw in there all the time, and which I think are very, very beneficial for the prevention of tumor growth. So for me, it seemed to work, and especially for mitigating the side effects of chemo. It worked very well, and I had no nausea, no diarrhea, none of the stuff that's associated with chemotherapy, except hair loss, and that happened because it's kind of one of the things that you can't. It's very, very hard to prevent hair loss. I mean, they got these things you can put on your head, like that freeze. What happens is when the chemicals in chemotherapy are designed to attack anything that's fast growing. Of course, hair cells are very fast growing, and other parts of your body are fast growing as well, like your stomach lining, your intestinal wall, all this stuff. I mean, if you think about it, the chemo is actually attacking these things. So if you can do everything you can to mitigate the side effects of that happening to you, and then have the chemotherapy kind of like directed at messing with the cancer, and that's done. If you study it, it's done through fasting, then you're on the right track. Okay, so I'm going to finish my Keto Brains coffee. I'm going to probably finish my Keto Start and water. And I'm wishing you a very, very good day wherever you are. If you want to get in touch with me, you can do so. I'm found everywhere as Naples Dave. I live in the city of Naples, Florida. That's with an N like Nancy. Naples Dave. Naples Dave at gmail.com. I'm Naples Dave on Twitter. Naples Dave, I think here, but I think it's or Dave Jackson 77 or something. I got this channel on YouTube when YouTube was YouTube before Google owned them, so it's like a long time ago. And I never did seek out the name Naples Dave, but I appreciate you. I really do. If you need help, just let me know. I'm open to it. I have a website called Naples.Academy. Academy's like the .com, you know. So it's not naplesacademy.com, it's naples.academy, and that's all. If you put that in a web browser, you'll see that it actually turns into a website, all right? Because it's a new domain designator, .academy. And it was available, so I got it. And on there, I got the videos of what I do, you know, the 7 pillars that I talk about all the time. And there you can contact me as well if there's anything I can do to help you. You can schedule a Zoom call, which I encourage you to do. You know, you and I will talk about, you know, some of the things you're going through, and I'll tell you what helped me, you know. I never tell people to copy what I did, but stuff was out there on the internet for me to look at when I ran into my challenge a year ago with cancer. You know, I started looking at here's what this person did, you know, and here's what this person did, and I started like gathering this data and thinking, you know, hey, look, there's a correlation between what they're doing and what's happening with their cancer. So I encourage you to get in touch, take control of your own health, right? All right, so be good, take care. I'm gonna hit the stop button here, and we'll see you on the next video.